Good morning, good evening, everyone. So good to see you all. I see there is a bit of a crowd. So we'll just give it a couple of more minutes while people come, and I will start setting this up. How's everyone doing? Chat is open. You guys can communicate through chat. So um, let's use that as a one-way communication or two-way communication. Hey, Malcolm. Hey, Sylvia. Wow. Okay. All right. Hope everyone's doing good. And you guys can hear me okay. If you can hear me okay, just say yay. Anyone? So we know everyone's alive. All good. All right. Um, I hope everyone had a little chance to play with the new version. Would love to know what you guys think of it, whoever has played around with it. I know it's a lot to digest, but hopefully it should be a lot easier as well. And what I want to do is we can go through um, a complete content writing uh, up to the point where you hand it off to your editor or something of that nature, right? Like build a process around how you can go from start to the end, complete optimization, adding internal links, everything together, and using all of these new tools that we have built. We could use that in order to get started. Um, Anybody has had chance to play with the tool? Say yay. Do you guys see the first draft? I'll show something really good, cool stuff in the first draft as well that you guys can do to build a process around and do this in and out every day. Okay. All right. Not anybody. So anybody has a chance to play with the tool yet? Just say yes, no. Sounds good. Not yet, not yet, not yet. Paul says yes. Great. All right. So few yes, few no's. All right. So I know that. All right. Many of you guys are new. So we'll take it like that. All right. Okay. Let me open up. And I want to take a topic that, potentially we are writing. So I can use my sitemap and I can show you how I would go through the process of making sure that everything is correct on that document. So let's go to my current workflow. Go to my, let's say, I have so many folders. So I want to go into, oh, never mind here. I don't have a process on here. It's on staging. So let's do something of the nature. Let's say how to start a sports blog. Okay. Very simple, straightforward, yet anybody can create content like this through chat gpt or anything like that and paste it and think, okay, all right, you know what, I'll rank for it. Not going to happen. You need to show some expertise. So you should be really a subject matter expert when you're writing this. But if you are not, then how do you demonstrate that expertise through your content primarily, right? Like all these other things that you do around it, which is well and good, which you need to do, which is besides what's in control of content that you need to do. But when you're writing content, it needs to reflect the expertise, right? So let's keep that in mind. That we're not writing content just to write for the sake of it. We're writing it so that we can really demonstrate expertise and make sure that the reader gets something out of what we have pushed out there. If you have done that and you've done everything else, I think now it's even easier to rank in Google than it was before. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started with this, how to start a sports blog. We have a good crowd, still people joining in. If you guys are late, we're just starting out with a keyword. We're going to see the entire process of how do you create content and go through the optimization process. Okay, all right. How to start a blog. I want to quickly refer to what people have been writing 2023. with pictures, okay, step-by-step guide. But most of these are how-tos, which are a step-by-step guide, right? So let's select something here first, how to start a sports blog. And what I don't see many people have mentioned over here is everybody's mentioned how to start a sports blog, but I would like there's a step-by-step guide, there is a make money, there is passive income, right? Like, so we know that many people are interested in potentially making money when they're writing a sports blog. So how to start a sports blog. Okay, all right. And you can potentially optimize this, monetize it, right? So this is great. Um, if you wanted your title to be super optimized and target a lot more keywords than it is, then you should find somehow a way of including this website word in your in your title, right? We will include this throughout the content, regardless, but it's in your title. It would certainly make a difference, right? And you can see that not a lot of people have targeted that, but they're all ranking for this particular keyword. So this is the lowest hanging fruit, right? Like you want to target, you want to rank for a competitive keyword. You can target some of this long-tailed or semantically related keywords that potentially can improve the reach for your topic. Okay, so I'm not going to add this here, but we can add, you guys can add that. Okay, based on this, it automatically populated that this looks like an informative blog post. If it wasn't, then you can potentially change this to a comparison blog post, alternative blog post, a local service page, a recipe type, whatever it is, a landing page, which is general. You can be writing any kind of landing page, right? And then the title steers it into creating the outline as a very next step. Okay. Let me pause a second. There's a question over here on the title page before we go further. Not just say how to start a sports blog website and monetize it. Sounds good. Great suggestion. It is still under 60 characters, which is perfect. And feel free to add more to it. If there were other keywords that you wanted to target, you can add them more. But what I'd keep is under 60 should be the most important terms with high click-through rates and all of these keywords that you're trying to target. Sometimes keywords can be in the long tail, right? Like after 60, it might not be shown. It's still okay. You can still rank. You still have a better chance of ranking than not putting anything at all. So I would go ahead and do that as well. Okay. So yes, Eddie, to the question that Eddie has, is it okay when is it okay when it's more than 60 characters? Is it okay to be adding more than 60 characters? Yes, absolutely, it's okay. Add 60 characters, add up to 100 characters, right? They just don't make it a sentence. Then there's no purpose to a title. But yes, make it long enough. It can be about 60. I'd keep the 60 to be the most impactful that the search engine most likely is going to show. Again, Google is, sometimes trying to rewrite it if your sentence is too big, if your topic is too big. So try to keep it under 60, the most impactful and complete, and then potentially target the remaining after that. Okay. Let's go ahead and generate the outline. Now, in the new release, the outline is a major improvement. And once you start using it, you will see it why. So outlines are now sort of a chatbot where there is feedback from the system. Well, the system generates something and then the user gives some feedback, right? Here, outranking is giving it some data-driven feedback to steer it into a direction where you can get that really great, unique outline, unique perspective, yet including many of the things that you want to include in it. Okay, so we see it's an informative blog post. So we have an introduction. The introduction is broken down into what is sports blog. You can do the editing after that, right? And we want to structure it in a way that it's easier for you to edit later on and maybe extend it, cut it down, or whatever is the case, right? So the first stage is planning, setting up, customizing, creating content for your sports blog, promoting it, monetizing it, maintaining and growing it, and some FAQs, right? So it's a great starting point. FAQs only too. We know we can add more from the questions over here. How do I get paid? What is a web hosting? Let's see if there is anything more. What are the reasons behind starting a sports blog? Maybe, right? Like you might want to add a few. How will I get visitors to my sports blog? Let's say I want to write that, and then I will drag it in here. What I also noticed, and sometimes the AI can do this, right, is that it doesn't have stage here. So I'll add the stage here, and then we can go to generating the topic. And I'm taking my time here so you guys can understand that without, even with a little bit of editing and steering it into the right direction, how fast we can get to starting to add value. Okay. What I'd also like sports blogger here. Not a great, let's say good blogger, sports blogger. Yeah, this is a blogger. It doesn't matter. Sports blogger, sports blog, blog on sports. We have included sports and how to promoting your sports blog. So that's fine, right? Like we've used plurals of it, and when we run the optimization, it should be automatically able to tell us if we need to further optimize it. So I'm okay over here as far as I've targeted more than what my competitors are targeting, so I can check, right? Like for a sports website might not be relevant to me. Like some of this other keywords, some of the other websites which are on the SERPs are ranking for. And that's why it's suggesting so many topics, right? That this other people are ranking for. We somehow want to incorporate them as much as we can, but not going insane, right? So that's why we have this current and the target, and we have the number of headings that we need. So we're targeted 30, which is great as well. If it needed to be further optimized, the widget will suggest us. And so I'm going to rely on that and just look over your outline, maybe extend a few steps if you need to when you are going through your ranking pages. But that's pretty much it, right? Like beginning a blog, and I see that affiliate AdSense. So people have broken it down, and like this outline is very comprehensive. You can take some suggestions from here. You can insert it into the right stage, right? Extend your outline, and then go to the next step of creating the first draft. Okay, let's go to the first draft. Okay, there's a couple of questions here, and I want to take that. Are the keywords shown in the order of importance? The keywords are shown in the orders of how many people are ranking for those keywords. And then it is also consisting of some important terms which appear again and again. So it's a combination of that. It's not in order of importance because let's say you are talking about specifically how to start a sports blog, and you are probably let's say a soccer, a blogger influencer, and so your writing is steered a little towards more towards soccer, right? And we see soccer over here, blog about soccer, right? In that case, it'd be okay for you to target this. But in some other cases where you're talking about sports blogging jobs, right, your content is heavy on that, and your website serves the purpose around jobs, then you might want to target this and not that, right? So it's very dependent on what you are doing. But what we are trying to aim here is when you are in the title, you don't need to don't need to be going insane, right? Like you need to have a certain amount of keywords in it, so you are like covered in the majority of the way. But then we'll also incorporate this throughout the content when we are writing your content, so that it doesn't look like your content is written for SEO first, or and and the people first second, right? Like that's not what we want to do. So don't over optimize anything so much that it clearly looks like you are trying to get, you're optimizing for SEO and not people first experience as well. So have the right balance. And that's why we have a scoring in a certain way that we do. And we show this keywords as a list and not in order of any priority. In order of priority matters when you're considering NLP terms in your content, not related terms. Related terms are from search engine, right? That other pages rank for. Okay, let's go ahead and create first draft. All right. So this is the brand new utility, right? And we're talking about sports. So it's something related to outranking, right? Now, let me do this. I will grab a style sheet that we can use, which is a little personalized by personalized for outranking, and hence it can show you guys how you can replicate that. Just a second here, quickly grabbing it. Okay, all right. I have the thing. I just need to add it. Let me explain a little bit right here. What's really happening? Um, what's happening here is that we have a style guide, and a style guide pretty much is visible at all times to the chatbot. So even the writing that we've done now is geared more towards chatbot, where there is feedback from both sides. So to the chatbot, the style sheet is visible all the time, right? And hence it can write this consistent content, which it couldn't before. Now, before we had modular style writing, so it could read it, but it could not read what's about to come, and hence it would write only that section. So it was possible that many times, or this would happen in like 40-50% of the time, you'd get same fragments of same research going in to each of this section, making it a little repetitive at times, right? But this eliminates that, because now we have a chatbot style. It can read through the entire conversations, and it can also read more research and keep the draft in line. And whatever you're writing now has potentially read through everything that you have written already, and have an understanding of what you're about to write as well, alongside the research. So it's really crazy how it actually builds out the draft now. And let's look at the style guide parameters now. So tone, voice, how to use verbs, how to start a comparison. So now what we these are the three are the basic one, right? Which depicts your branding, or how you want to tone your article, or how you want to write it. The remaining after that kind of tells the draft, or tells the AI how it should be structuring your content, right? And so what we had before was that it was picking out different templates for different use cases. Now we have an optimized template that can keep a track of multiple things, or many things at the same time, and place them at the right places whenever needed, right? So what we have now is, how do you write an FAQ type? How do you write a comparison type? How do you write a product or anything that you're comparing as best, right? How can you answer all other sections? And any additional details you want to mention in it, right? Like, we have all of these details in the style guide. You can modify it if you want to, but what you only need to modify now when you're creating the content is your tone and your voice. After that, it can pretty much do everything the way you were doing, but 10 times better and faster. So we'll see this. What I want to show is, let's say if I was an outranking editor, and I was generating this or a writer generating this first draft. I want to talk about outranking wherever possible that makes sense, right? Like, so what if I wanted the AI to be aware of the product that I'm writing about, or my stance on a particular topic that I'm writing about in hand before? That's insane, right? Like, so now that is super personalization. While I am writing it, I want to be aware of what outranking does. And when I find places to talk about outranking, I want to go ahead and insert things that outranking is good at or is doing into the content when I'm writing. So that's what I want to show you, how you can personalize the style guides and make it so powerful that you can have a process, pick a style guide, generate the draft, and you are on the way, right? Like, you know exactly how you want it. The first draft that we currently have is amazing. Just try it out, right? Like, for 99% of the use cases, if you don't have this humongous processes or are big agency, then you wouldn't need this. But if you are an agency, you have a client, that you work with consistently, then you might want to adopt this to make sure that you have lesser amount of editing and figuring out to do later. Or you'd save some time in writing or editing part, either or one, but you'll definitely save some time because now the writer or the editor doesn't have to think how to talk about your product in it, right? Like the mentions are already there. All they have to do is enrich it, edit it, verify it, or whatever that is. And it takes much less time to figure that out than to find out where to exactly talk about you. Okay, so let's go ahead and generate. Well, I'm not going to generate the first draft yet. I want to show you what style guide I'm going to enter. So I've added the style guide here. And there is a part where we're talking about outranking, right? So let me delete this. How to talk about outranking. Outranking is SEO content optimization and writing platform that leverages AI. Where possible, mention connection to outranking brand and write 1 or 2 sentences. Don't force yourself in if the content is not a good fit, right? So just give a general background of what it is. You could give it a lot more background about what your product is, and it can do even better, right? So that's pretty much it, what I've done in this particular template. And we'll see if it is able to sort of mention this automatically. Right. I can just save. And now we have this. Let me delete this part. And now we can generate the first draft. Let me take some questions while this is being generated. Okay, so do you first look at the suggestions, content length before you get into the outline? Content length, no, not really, right? Like it is what it is. If I have to write 1,500 words, I just have to write it. If I have to write 6,000, I might as well just write it. I'll pick the topic strategically on based on my understanding of whether I want to create the content or not. So once that is done, right, like it makes no sense to go and see if the content is more or less until we get to the point where we actually start creating content, right? Like that's what I'm trying to get at. It's ultimately important, but I'll share my 2 cents on that as well. What I've noticed is, and this was always the case, more comprehensive content, longer content always ranks, or not always, but has a higher chance of ranking just because it is so entity rich, right? It has so much information that other pages might not have. So if you've done this correctly, they tend to perform a little better, right? So, and what I've seen is after this update that so might be the case, right? We have a page which is 12,000 words, and it was always ranking on second page, but all of a sudden it's in top 5 after this update, right? And so like there's a few other concrete examples like that, but what I would say is just, look at it after you have a complete first draft. See where and how much value you can add and extend it, or, reduce what you've gotten from the first draft and maybe change it a little bit up to match the SERPs. But I would look at it after. Okay. Paul asked, you only need to change the stage number in the outline. Well, I would add potentially a couple of more details from the ranking pages, and we added one FAQ, but that's all I did at the moment, right? Now, you could add more, you could steer it in the direction that you want it to go, right? Like you might have envisioned the topic when you're writing about it. And if you haven't, then the outline that I gave you was really, really good. Obviously, people had structured it a little differently, and every other page structures it a little differently, which is what you want as well, with some additional details, some different type of angle, right? Like all of that included, while understanding what other people have written is what the outline gave you. So yes, it was pretty solid. Are the keywords shown in the order of importance? We answered that. If it shows search volume, also it's good to add more outlines. Obviously, you can hover over it and it shows the search volume. It also shows search volume in your optimization tab. But again, right, like search volume is search volume. Those numbers and what you can see in Search Console in terms of impressions, it's very different, right? Impressions are real, and that give you a better idea. So search volume, I've written topics with zero search volume that get a couple of thousand page views a month, so it doesn't really matter. Okay, with the style guide, can I tell OR to do pros and cons list into a table? Absolutely. And where we have mentioned, well, let me not open that. Okay. I'll open an existing blog post so I can show you where you can do that. Okay, so when I'm in writing tools, let's go to my optimization. When you extend this, you will find pros and cons here. So expanded list of top 5 features, 5 benefits, 2 cons, and products in best. So let me copy this, and this should have been wrapped, but here. So write 2 sentences highlighting why it made the best list, an expanded list of top 5 features, 5 benefit, 2 cons, and who the product is best for as an explicit recommendation. Okay, all right. What I want to do is I want a table instead of this, right? So I could say table with 5 benefits and cons. Explanation for each. All right. And then just do this. Now, this is your personalized. So if you wanted to keep using this, reusing this, then you can create your own template, like how I explained, just copy from here and paste it, but just paste it in here. And then every time it's going to write the first draft, it's going to do the tables instead of this. You could also add tables on top of what we already have. That way it does tables and that every time. So it's quite powerful in terms of what it can do with that. Okay. We already generated the style guide for you. You don't need to do anything. You just need to change the tone and the voice to not complicate things. Once you get used to that, see if you want to build a process and maybe learn how to create a custom style guide. And you can refer this video as a starting point as well. There is also a specific video on how to write style guides. Is there some place you have a template style sheet posted with the headings we need? Yes, absolutely. Just look at this example. Click on this example post right here. It will open it up. And there are some examples that we have listed. You can mix and match. This is how you write the heading, and this is how you write the explanation, and just copy and paste it into your custom style guide. So it's right here, accessible. Just click on it. If you click on add, it will also show you some examples of how you can write and create a style guide here as well. So there are multiple places, but what I would suggest is if you're starting out, the best way to do is create the first couple of drafts yourself, understand the format and the layout and everything that it presented. Then go and tweak a few, right? When you're generating a few subsequent drafts, to understand how it adapts to it. And then maybe once you want to process, or you want to write like 30, 40, 50 topics of similar in nature very fast, then you can build a custom style guide where you just pick it, generate, and you're done. Okay, let's minimize this and see what we got here. Okay, so the first draft generated, and we got 33 that's great for the amount of outlines that we have, right? So we have 30 headings, we're above average, which is great. Description is not that great. Description is great as well. We're lacking a few common terms. Originality, obviously, without you doing something, it's not going to improve. Images and stuff like that. Let me just quickly go through some of the questions which we already got up till this point, and then I will continue. How do I tell Outranking to use content from my website, blog posts, product descriptions, etc.? All right, let's do this. There's a couple of ways you can do this. And the first way where you can do this on mostly automation with lesser manual work is when you come here to your outline section before you go to your first draft. Click on add URLs, and add all the URLs that you want outranking to read. It can read up to 50 URLs. Don't go berserk and try to add more, right? But it can read quite a few URLs. Once you've added that, and let's say you just want the AI to read those URLs and nothing else, right? In that case, you can come down to your ranking pages and turn them off. Once you turn them off, it will not be visible to the research when we are writing the AI. So that way you're excluding it and you have the specific research that you want for the first draft. Okay, let's go back to first draft and see some more questions. I didn't see, okay, so second way, right? Adriana, second way would be you go to sections writing, right? So I'm at first draft. I can either go to generate prompt and it will generate the prompt, or let me go here and I can go back to my sections writing. Now in the section writing, what you can do is open it up and add background data. We already collected background data. So up to you, you want to use this or you can add your own as well. You can use this when you want to do a couple of sections rewrite, right? Like you don't want to rewrite the whole draft again. You just want to rewrite a couple of sections using some different information. You can do this. But we tend to bring in data from lots of URLs, semantic information, right? And bring it in. So you likely have great research, but when it comes to specific products, not so often talked about on the web or content limited, and you want to add your own, you can come and paste it here. So that's the second way. And then just click on write section and it will write the section again. Okay. Oh, stage 3 multiple times in the outline. Yes, I forgot to change stage 3 to 4, 5, and 6, so it's fine. Okay, do you have FAQ, SEO headers, or it's all standard H3 tags? I'm not sure what you mean SEO, FAQ, SEO headers. So that's the part where you want more optimization. You can go to before you're creating the first draft, you can come here and you can add more FAQs that target some of the keywords that you might want to try and rank for as FAQs. But I'm not sure what you mean by that question. So I'll come back to that. Okay, did writing tools method disappear? Yes, they did. It's in the release notes. I also announced it on the group that it was going to go away. You can do all of these things with a prompt writing, and it probably will even get better. But you already have prompt writing in outranking. So click, you can execute your prompt. You can create your own templates of any kind of prompt that you want to save and use again and again. So that's all customizable. But yeah, methods gone. The consumption for methods was very limited. Can you provide a list of common tones to use? Yes. We'll see. Okay, there we go. There are approximately 145 tones that we've written over here with examples that you can see. So I suggest I'm dropping the link in here if anybody is interested in doing this. Right. And so my tone when I'm writing it, it's conversational, yet sometimes sarcastically funny. And that's the tone that I use, right? And then the editor knows how to tweak it, right? So you can use that. Okay, all right. And does outranking include a title tool like Headline Studio? I don't know what a title tool means or a Headline Studio, so I cannot comment on that. If I have my own background data, how outranking will write that particular section. So like I mentioned, you can go to your writing tools. One second. Just add your own background data control. So let's say you have your own background data, just add your own background data and click write section, and it will write the section again. It will write under here, but it will write it again. Okay. All right, so no question here. I'm gonna go further. This can take a couple of seconds. I'm just gonna go ahead and go to the optimization, which is the main part. Okay, all right. So we are in the optimization section. We have a draft, which is approximately 2,900, and it wrote another section here. That's fine. Okay, so we have about 4,000 words in here. Yet our and we have already targeted common terms. So I'm not sure what happened here. 1 second. Okay, so we've already targeted common terms. What I want to do is Control C. I'm going to revert this to a few versions before. And we go back to optimize, and let's see our score. Our score is still great. What I was trying to do is reduce our score so we can actually check optimization of okay, all right. So now our common terms is less, right? Like that was one of the optimized passages. I'm going to show like how you can go through something where you can add internal links. So okay, so we've already added internal links to this as well, and I wanted to remove this. Oh no, never mind. I'm looking at the uh, wrong topic. Okay, I was like, we didn't add internal links or anything like that. Okay, there we go. So this is the topic that we just created, right? And it wrote about 3,300 words. And you can see that the common terms are approximately 52% coverage, right? What we need is 80% coverage. You can clearly see which ones are missing over here, blog sites, email address, some important, some that might not, right? Like ESPN has been mentioned in 4 pages. So we want to find places to include this. Now, there's 2 ways to do this. Uh, up to you, up to your style, right? How do you want to do this? But let's say I want to include just this blogging site keyword into my content. In that case, I can just come down to common terms. And I say, all right, let's find a place for place to insert this. And it's telling me that I can probably insert this in here. And this is how I would rewrite this. Additionally, many companies are looking for a higher traffic blogging site, such as sports blogs or sponsored posts or place advertisements on them, right? Okay, so if I agree with it, I can accept it and it would be included. That's one part of it. What I want to show is how you can add, like, so this will take some time, right? For you to go and do that, not that much time as doing it manually. You can quickly go through this and probably spend 10 minutes and do this your way. But what I want to show is automatic optimization. Let's go here. I will also click internal links. I've already added my outranking domain here, so it should be able to tell me internal links. And then I will start the wizard. And you can do this, you can take this process of optimization for an existing, we will take that as well. We'll see how we can optimize an existing page and improve the score, title, description, and everything, and then republish it. If you guys have more questions, drop it in chat. The complete thing might take a few seconds to populate. So what it's doing now is that it grouped the keywords which are remaining into the sections which it could be added automatically. And then now it's going to go and rewrite and add some of this information back into those sections. Okay, we can see it started rewriting a little bit here and there. So let's go ahead and find an existing page that we can actually optimize, right? So let's paste this in here. And I'm gonna go down to the 3rd or the 4th page and then find me a page. Okay. Okay, all right. So this page is one of the worst examples ever. They have literally no amount of content. So it's going to be challenging. We're going to have to pretty much rewrite this entire page, right? But we'll see what we can do very quickly to optimize this page. Okay, all right. So it's rewriting all of it, and you can go through each of these sections, right, and accept them individually if you'd like, right? Like you can see where it added the security plugin, it adjusted the content a little bit here and there to add that, right? So it's doing all of these things by itself. And like, look at this, it added all of these keywords into this section. Now that would have taken some time, right? Like mentioning this. But what is the best part? It's not a stupid rewriter. It's not an AI where you go to chat and say, I have a blog, I have this content. Can you go and insert 10 words into it? Well, sure, the AI is going to say, great, I'll just get right to it. It will add it and it'll give it to you. What's the substance from it? Nothing. What we do is when we are rewriting this section, for the terms that you're trying to add the information, we are also pulling that background research when we are rewriting this. So when you're talking about hummingbird, you know we're not talking about a bird, but we're talking about something as which is relevant to Google's update, right? Like it notes that background research, and it can be for any product that you're writing. If you've not included a certain product of e-commerce on here, we can go and find that information from the ranking pages and use that as background research when we are rebuilding this section. So it is not writing or just inserting stupid words wherever it finds and tells it like, okay, go ahead, we're done with it. It's not that. Okay, let's go ahead and finish this up. It's 3 more sections remaining. It should take about a minute. Can you implement to show the number of words on the first-hand competitors for the given keyword in the workflow stage? Can we set a limit on how many words to write from the writing tools? Well, you can't set an exact limit. You won't be able to. For short amount of content like title, description, outline, yes, totally possible. When you're writing like 3,000 words, right? By the time it reaches 2,900, it's going to start losing track of, some of the great information that you wanted it to cover. So it's not precisely possible to do this, but since we're doing it in the chat style, and if you'd like it to be more concise, you can tweak the settings that we've given. And let's look at one of the settings which we are using to control the length of this. So let's go ahead and go to our writing tools. I go to my draft wizard, and there is how to answer all the other sections. And we say like, okay, to answer concisely with fewer and shorter sentences, right? Like fewer and shorter, mentioned it already, concisely. You can change that to informative, somewhere between informative and too concise, right? So you can do that. You can do that very easily with this and control the limits, but you're going to have to try one section at a time, right? Like it's impossible to say create 100 words, well, create 5,000 words exactly or 2,000 words exactly. What we tend to do is it depicted based on how many outlines you have. So, and each outline you are trying to cover might write about 100 to 150 words per outline. So you can see like based on that, we had 30 outlines and it wrote about 3,600 words, 3,300 words, right? When we were initially doing this. So you can pretty much take the judgment based on that and then edit that. But don't try to control the length too much. You try to control length too much, you take away the when you say just write 300 words, it has, when it tries to really write under 300 words, it tends to miss out some of the very important details that you should have covered, which could have been covered in, let's say, 350 words. So that's what you don't want to do. And hence, you should just be concisely, informatively, extremely informative, somewhere in between concise and informative. You can use those kind of words. Okay, all right. So it rewrote all of it. And all I want to do now is accept. You can also individually accept these sentences, right? So let's accept, and you can see common terms went to green. So it's added all the terms into your existing content. And you still need to clean this up, polish this up, add more value to it, blah, blah, blah. But that is part of originality. That's the last part, right? So everything is part of your workflow. And now we'll just add some internal links, which I can show very quickly. Okay, so affiliate links, blogs, that is great. Domain name, that is great. AI content optimization platform. I might not want to use this yet. Charge, premium themes. Okay, this could mean something. Content planning, 4 P's of marketing strategy. Okay, writing error types. And Google, no, not there, right? Content brief. I don't want to use outranking, but you get the idea. I've included some links over here. You can regenerate a few and you can add more as well. What I want to show is something else as well. Let's go down to internal links. And let's say I have all of these posts that we're ranking for. Now, AI blog post generator is something that I want to insert into my content. Now, how do I do that? Click here. It should automatically when we start with it. So here, it's going to go and find a place for us to add that internal links. Blog about sports. That's the best place it could find. It's not going to rewrite the content. So you might want to go there and edit the content and add this yourself. Or in the best case, you find a very good anchor and you just add it to your content and go from there. Okay, let's go back to this. You can see readability score is 52 and average is 55. You definitely need to improve it. And we have some of these things lingering in the content, which is keeping the readability score lesser, but it could be better. Okay, your originality is 12. We're trying to target 14, so you just need to add a little bit more originality to your content. And what I want you to do now is once you have the first draft, go through this explicit recommendations that we've given. Like really, like do this. If you do this, you're not only going to show a better, demonstrate better experience, demonstrate more expertise, but also show that you've done your research, right? Like, and there's like really a lot of great information on your webpage to show the user. Second thing, I would also say that while this drafts are amazing and they do look like you can just publish and rank, right? Like many other people would also say, oh, generate the blog and then, just click publish and rank. So you can do that 2,000 times a day and you are a rich person. Don't do that. I advise against it. I'd say take time, treat this as a guidance for your actual first draft. If you treat this as a guidance, you fact check it, you ensure that there is sources linking to, sources going out of it. You have substantiated that information, right? And you've gone above and beyond what some of the other pages have done to show that you really know about the subject. Make sure that you go through all of these and extend your content to be more comprehensive. This writes well, but it's not trying to be crazy long. So it's keeping things concise. I would say just enrich this content, treat this as a guidance for your final draft, and go from there. Once you have your first draft and you've added all the things suggested in your summary, you can go to publish. And if you have a WordPress plugin, now we have a publish URL, and we've already updated the our plugin on WordPress. So you can connect your website, just type in the domain that you're trying to connect. And if it is connected, it will let you proceed and type in the category. If no category, it will just create a draft right now. So just set up the draft and then go and ensure everything is correct and publish it. That's pretty much it. Now we still have 10 minutes. So I want to optimize an existing web page. Now let's go back to optimize. Let's delete this content and we're going to grab this horrible blog post that would never rank. Save. It's showing the 21st position is reserved for you at the moment. The graph needs a little tweak, maybe a little more intuitive way of showing where you are in that. And that's part of our update, but take the 21st position as something that is yours. Okay, all right. So we have this. Like this. Okay. We have a few images and we mostly this garbage length. Okay, okay. So all of these content is crap. And let's delete this. Okay, all right. So basically, what I need is 3,000 words, yet it has only covered this. My title is bad, my description is bad, my headings are bad, my common terms are horrible, and my originality is okay-ish, right? Like it's way too much. You might want to not target 14, but that's fine. Here, originality can definitely win because you've just written something totally different. Your images is one basically or two right now. This is not even an image, so you pretty much have one image, and you don't have any external links going out. Great. How can you win at this? No suggestions because we've included a few internal links in it, right? And I'll do this as well. While this loading, let's go through some questions. And we are going over the steps of auto optimization, right? The step-by-step guarding, starting a sports blog, be the voice of your favorite sports. Title optimize. You guys can start looking at the score. We are optimizing the title and stuff like that. And while we are rewriting the content, we want to make sure that we just don't rewrite everything, right? We want to keep what you have written already into the content. So we're going to try and do that as well automatically. Okay, so we have a description. I'm going to start your blog post now. Discover how, okay, this is good. Add number of headings. If you don't like the suggestions, okay, let's generate some heading. Okay, so it could not, don't like the suggestions. Fix. Okay, it did not. Okay, so it is 3 out of 3. Okay, let's skip this. So it doesn't have any suggestions for adding number of headings. We're gonna skip this. Okay, that's totally off. Blog. 1 second. Just a second, guys. I'm trying to figure out where this is going here. Okay. Optimize. One more second. We should have it. Okay, so it is not generating headings for some reason. Oh my God. Wow. Okay. All right. Can you guys tell me what the problem was? Sorry, I figured it out. What they've done is they've used 5 H1s on their web page. So it's not recognizing any of the headings. So what I just need to do is use this. All right, the format, I mean, no wonder why that page is not ranking. But besides the worst content, the formatting is even worse. Okay, now let's see what happened here. Now, so now we have 6 headings, right? Let's go back to our automatic optimization. We optimize title and description. Keywords already targeted, but they don't have number of headings and the common terms, and internal links, there's nothing such as keyword. Okay, we have 600 words. Let's see what we can do. We already optimized our title and description using the wizard. Now we are going to optimize, we're going to add number of headings to our existing outline. And we are going to also add the common terms. I'm not sure what you mean by Canadian versus US English and auto optimize. It does highlight the text in most of the places. So we'll see. Okay, so look at this outline. What we want to do is we don't want to go nuts over this, right? So we only want to add things which are conceptually missing from your content. So we need to have an understanding of what other people have written, but also keep the relatively easy to read structure that you already created without distorting it too much, right? So what we did was for this particular section is that it rewrote and added its own steps, right? So you can add your own steps here. Step 3, let's say, right? And this is step 4, which you can adjust it once the content is written in it. But you can see that it added some of the sections. What you don't like, you can delete it. If you like something, you keep it and then adjust it later on. But if you accept it, it will write all the sections before inserting it. The webinar will be recorded, so it's building out your draft right now. It'll take a few seconds for it to add the content. Once it's done, we'll know. Oh, we've already went up to 39. The main, like someone, your main thing is title, right? Like it scored the highest. So if you have the right title, you get certain points. Description a little, you still have a certain amount of content on your webpage, so you deserve some points. So we are at 39, but we'll see how close we can get to by the end of finishing this wizard. There's no way to force optimize it. You force optimizing it would literally mean that you are just like you're destroying the content basically with all the types of keywords that you shouldn't be. So we can see it started writing the content and just I refreshed it, right? Like it wrote 1300 words and it will slowly adjust it wherever it needs to be adjusted. And more. I'll keep writing more. We'll give it a few seconds. They can be optimized, right? Like if your headers were not optimized, then you can also take the suggestions for improving your headings and go from there. So right now we're adding number of headings, right? That's first suggestion. If it didn't have all the keywords, it would tell you to add the keywords into your heading as well. Understanding the affiliate, the links between. It's writing this section currently. Okay. tools and secrets to start a successful sports blog and monetize it. It will not increase it, or it might not even decrease it, but I wouldn't use this title here. We can try this. Yeah, see, it didn't increase or decrease it. That's what I was trying to say. They're both great titles. They both have all the keywords that you want to target in it. So it should pretty much score the same thing. Okay, we're 20 at 2100 words, right? This is great. Where Why maintaining an editorial calendar? Okay, so we're here. It's gonna write a few more sections. What we can do is I'm gonna pause here, refresh the page. Well, I want to show that it actually covered all the headings and that it covered many of the common terms and things like that. So let's give it a few seconds. It should take about 3 minutes more. Researching and talking. Okay, here. All right, so about 6, 7 sections. What is OR doing with the images tab? Images tab is just suggesting what other people have done in the images. And I can show this here. Let's go to optimize and images. You can see the target amount of images that people have and what you currently have, and just a breakdown of it. Start using the images the way you want, and make sure you stay between the range. I'd say even go above it if you can source original details, but this is the challenging part, right? And which AI pretty much is useless right now in doing, unless you add stock images and AI generated images with no value. Okay, let's see how many words per road. It's gradually improving the score by including more and more entities and writing more content. Blogging themes, writing this. Still a few more seconds to go. Any more questions? Drop it in the chat, right? We're going to go directly to optimizing common terms after that. Any more questions? Drop it in the chat. We still got a couple of minutes to go. We're almost there, monetizing it. It's writing the second last section. The recording will be posted on YouTube in the next half an hour after this webinar. Frequently asked questions. All right. Those are short ones, so should not take much time. It can't really highlight the text it hasn't written, right? So it's trying to rewrite a lot of things. And when you are doing like modular rewriting, it highlights the text then. But when you're doing like complete optimization using optimization wizard, the visibility is right here, right? Okay, so it added it. Our headings are green, and our score became 63. Okay. It's adding some common terms here. We'll see how much common terms we need to add, but that could be added as well. We just saw a demonstration of that. It should say internal. Sometimes internal links are not loading in Strategist. If you can send a screenshot and a screenshot of the domain, or just reach out to support, they might be able to help you. There could be some issue with your account, but it shouldn't. It takes some time in loading the internal links, especially with the new release that we have done. And if you guys have time, just stick around there. Here. Let's just links. All right, so these are all your internal links, and let's see. There could be a few that we had optimized. No. Okay, we have some here we optimized yesterday. So let's see. Okay, so this one, right? Like, so let's say enterprise SEO trend. So if you click on internal link audit, right, it should go and do the audit, and it can take a few minutes, sometimes 10 minutes. So understand what it's trying to do now is it's trying to look at the keywords that you currently rank for. There's only one keyword we've got here right now. So it's looking at only one of those keywords. But if we had, let's say, 10 keywords, then we need to figure out which 10 keywords we want to create content or do internal linking from. So we have to run that many sort calls to find out the exact URLs matching it, connected with your website, right? And get that content. Now it's connected to your WordPress plugin. So it has all of these details much faster. But once it collects that, it needs to read the content through AI. Exact links are fine, but when you don't find an exact match and you want to find some content where you can add an anchor text, you need to read the content, right? So it's reading it and then it's applying those rewritings and suggesting something. So you can see here, right? Like, so if I was to add an internal link here, this is my original content that like statistics, right? An important consideration for enterprise SEO trends. So it's not trying to change the meaning, but add the text to it. Then sometimes it will also add the text automatically into the topic, right? Like, and sometimes there's no rewrite needed. Absolutely no rewrite needed, right? In that case, it will not rewrite at all. So it's keeping all of these things. So look at this. It did not do the rewrite. The original text already has SEO trends, right? And hence, we're talking about enterprise SEO trends. It goes and inserts that automatically into it. But if we don't find something, then it will add something around the text which is more relevant to it. So it's doing this. You can find this and just one click publish to WordPress. That way, you don't have to go and open up each and every page and do this internal link. The way we are doing this internal linking is so much powerful because it's based on PageRank, your semantic relation between your keyword, between the different keywords that are in the same silo, as well as semantic relation between the pages where we want to get this links from. So we combined all of that. This is not dumb internal linking. It is strategic internal linking from pages that will pass more link juice to the page that you're trying to rank. And this will result in definitive gains in just few days. If you have a site with hundreds of published, couple hundred pages published, try this on a couple of pages and see how well it does. For the keywords, just use this, right? Like, find the keywords with some decent amount of impressions and see if your impressions increase. Yes, it should work in Divi. It should work in all the things. We're connecting it with your database, so we can go and change the HTML content directly into the content. Great. I suggest you guys read our release blog on what we did in this release to kind of really understand this. But Shopify, HubSpot, Wix are on our list next very soon, where you should be able to do this cross-platform. Right now, it's WordPress. Okay, all right. So back here, it has started adding quite a few things already to our stuff, and there it is. Let's accept all. No more suggestions. My score is complete. I've gone to 75. All I need to focus on is a little bit of originality and improve that with screenshots and things like that. Well, I'm right around that. It should be still fine. So now your content actually has a fighting chance of going and making a little dent. Since we rewrote the content, all the internal links that you might have, should all be preserved where they were. Okay, pretty much that's it. You're still lacking a few images. You can add that. You have 20 images to add. We've added the sections and everything, but we've added 32 sections. We're targeting 33 keywords. You can see we targeted almost all the keywords. Besides some best sports blog, you can add a section if you like, but it's not needed here for the context of this topic that we're writing. But it's super easy to optimize existing web page using this. Some editorial work still remains, right? But that can be very easily achieved. Most of our questions can be answered by experience. Try it out and test different things and learn how to be better or whatever you want to do. I'm not sure what that means. All right. Great stuff, right? There's some exciting stuff coming, right? And I'm going to do a very thorough webinar on Strategist. I'm going to show some use cases, some actual pages that improved in ranking and exactly what we did in next week's webinar. So come there and we'll show you the power of automated internal linking and what it can actually do to your websites overnight, actually. So will you make a short explainer video? We already did make a short explainer video, and I have this flies, I don't know, like roaming around, just me, besides all this 1,000 things that you can find in the house. But anyway, okay. Yeah, so explainer video, one video is going out today, and the remaining will go out over the weekend. But the next week, we have some minor releases before that. It wouldn't affect you guys, but they're all pertaining to Strategist and some bug fixes, right? So once that's rolls out in next Thursday's webinar, we can really show you guys some really powerful internal linking using automation. So we'll see that, and just subscribe and just register for that webinar. And all right, guys, so we did a lot in that in this 1 hour. We wrote a topic, optimized it, and then we took an existing blog post and optimized it as well. So great ROI. All right. Sounds good, guys. It was great seeing you all. We'll see you next week. Have a great weekend. Any questions, drop it in chat or in our Facebook group. And we'll see you next week. Ciao.